Hi, good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the lesson. Today, we're going to go through the paper. So just in case, you can send me your work. I think I give you my handphone number. 98515. Okay, so please send me your answer later through my handphone. So for the next couple of minutes, we're going to do other things to share with you. Share screen. Okay, this is my lesson. Please turn on the camera for Harvey and Xingchen. Kindly turn on your camera, please. Thank you. Thank you very much, and show your head like at least something. Okay, today we are going to go through some the SPQ on Hitler, Stalin, and all the SPQ on Hitler, SEQ on Stalin, and SEQ on Korean War, and also cover a bit of the TOV, Treaty of Versailles, and League of Nations. Just to recap for those Set 3 students who may be coming up for their exam soon. So, Ray, when is your history exam? Yeah, Ray, when is your history exam? Never mind. If you can remember, then remember. If it's not, it's okay. Later you can tell me, okay? So, Ethan, you can see this picture here. One of my friends that time went to this place. I can't remember, is it in Germany or not? I think it should be in Germany. Yeah. So you see, this is the Cold War. Look at this picture, very nice. You break away. This is the East Germany. Yeah. This side, this is East. Is this Russian mark, correct? That's the Russian flag. And this is the West Germany. Was taken by these three countries: France, Britain, and England. See? So this is the whole of Germany as of today. Right? Just to give you an idea. This is how it works. Berlin, okay, West Berlin and East Berlin. Okay. So just to share this with you. And now we're going to go through this lesson here, which is let's start with oops. How come cannot? Okay, I'm not sure. The first day I went through this one with you, we call it the Gaga, the Treaty of Versailles, as 6 very important terms or 6 important points. The first one will be the guilt of the war, guilt for the war. So for Xingchen and Hao Rui, okay, Ethan, you and I will be the judge, okay, to see who, if let's say both of us agree, then sorry. So Xingchen and Hao Rui will have to compete and explain to us which is the most important point that caused the Treaty of Versailles to be very harsh on Germany. So let me explain. First, it's talking about guilt for the war by the clause 231 of the treaty. Take note for the Set 3 student. Germany had to accept the blame for causing all the losses and damage. Okay, do you think this is one of the reasons, one of the most severe clause or terms that Treaty of Versailles has made put it in place of this? Next is the armed forces that the treaty has made to force the Germany to sign this treaty to restricted 100,000 men in the army. Okay, and then conscriptions was banned, and that means there's no they do not allow them to have recruitments of soldiers or had to be volunteers. And no submarine or airplanes means there's no U-boat. Okay, the U-boat, which is the submarines and aeroplanes, and only 6 battleships to protect such a big country. And then the Rhineland had to demilitarize and controlled by France. So that's the armed forces, okay? Next, the reparations. Remember, it's power. You don't go and write euro dollars. So Germany had to pay for all the damages of the war. A sum was eventually paid. Okay, remember 6,600 million pounds. And the installment will go until 1984. Wow, that is a super duper long way. This is quite ridiculous. Right, definitely it's quite ridiculous. Not too much really for these few days. So Germany loss of territory. So these are the places. The coalfield was taken by France, and this was given to Belgium, and this was given to Denmark. So it's like 四分五裂. The whole entire Germany is like break into many pieces and all take advantage. And then the German colonies were made to mandates of the League of Nations to be looked after by, okay, they are forced to look after by these people. Can you imagine those countries that you fought and took over, 打下来的天下 was taken by your forefather, was taken by your ex-soldiers or generals, or even your father, and now you have to be given away to other peoples. Wow, I think it sounds a bit ridiculous, right? Just imagine Ulan is taken away by Johor, and then Admiralty, and then the Marine Parades and Pasir Ris is taken away by the Indonesian, the Batam. How you feel? So do you think the loss of territory is one of the reasons that caused a very heavy defeat for the Germans and a very bitter pill to swallow? Cannot take it. It's very harsh for them. Or is it due to the League of Nations, the creation of the League of Nations, that set the precedence of what you're supposed to follow, what you're supposed to do, as this is an international law, abide by it. But then later we're going to talk about whether the League of Nations is a success or failure. At this point of time, we are talking about, well, is League of Nations really that good? Is it protective? Kind of ensuring that the weakest countries are being protected. Then the extra terms, which is we are talking about forbids of anschluss union between Germany and Australia, and make these places, this country has independent, but we know after that it was taken away again. And in all, Germany lost all these things. Okay. So with a quick review, so Xingchen and Hao Rui, which one do you think is the most serious in your opinion? And please make your argument now. I'll give you 2 minutes to think about it. Okay, using the word gaga. Okay, so which one do you think is the most terms that caused Hitler and the whole country to go later on to go to World War II? Thank you. Ethan, you also choose, Ethan. But Ethan, why today you use handphone? Just curious.
I don't have my computer.
Why your computer's why?
No, I'm not at home.
Oh, you're not at home. I see.
Yeah.
You're not at home? Oh, you're at the girlfriend's house. Okay. Okay, Hao Rui, Xingchen. You have to choose. Which one are you choosing? Hao Rui, which one have you chosen? Hao Rui, have you chosen which point? And explain why you choose that point. And which one is the least important? Okay, Ethan, since this one is done before in your last year, so which one do you think is important and least important? Yes, Ethan, which one do you think so?
I think it's the war guilt clause.
The first one.
Yeah, the guilt of the war. And then
okay,
also,
that is the most important that caused the failure, correct? Okay, then which is the don't talk about it, the lousiest one, the least important?
the League of Nations.
League of Nations. Okay, thank you. So Xingchen, which one have you chosen?
Haven't chosen.
How really?
Guilt for the war and is the most important, and the loss of territory is the least important.
Oh, okay. Why do you choose the guilt for the war is the most important?
Because even though it was not only Germany who started a war and he was only helping the ally, his own ally, but he had to take the full blame of the war and a lot
bear the full consequences lah. Right
they
now.
feel very unfair.
Yeah,
they
feel very okay. Good
yeah,
point. What else?
they were asked to pay a lot of things and blamed fully for the war. Then the Germans felt like they were accused.
Okay,
And
that's
then
all.
Austria-Hungary should also be punished, or maybe even more than them.
Because the actual war started is not from Germany, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any more?
No.
Okay. So Harry, or 6 or 10 of 6th of October is your history, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, I just saw your message, sorry. Because sometimes I'm very slow, sorry. 6th of May, 6th of October. Then you don't need to attend already, what? You can take your exam already, correct now? Huh? After that, you got other paper to do, right? Xingchen. Harry, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see how it goes for next month. Then what about when you choose, say, Germany lost territory is the least important?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why?
Because the Germans are really suffering because of all the reparations and the consequences brought to them by the TOV. They won't care about like their pride anymore. They'll just care about whether they can survive or not. Like, yeah. They
Okay.
won't care about the country as a whole when they themselves are suffering.
That's all?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. 一晨你有听到吗？一晨 Okay. 星辰 your turn.
I would say reparations.
Is the most important.
Yeah,
That caused Germany to go to World War II later on, is it?
yeah.
Hooray, this is the point that will cause Germany to go to World War II later, huh? Right, hooray, huh? Okay, So, okay, why, okay, please discuss. Xingchen.
The reparations was what led to the Weimar government having to print a lot of banknotes to repay the reparations, which resulted in hyperinflation in Germany. And Hitler was able to take advantage of this hyperinflation and say that if he was in power, he would solve it. And that allowed him to start World War II since he got into a position of power.
Okay. Any more?
No.
Okay, that is the most important. Which is the least important?
League of Nations.
Why?
It did nothing.
Okay. Yeah, okay, fair enough, but you cannot just write a point. League of Nations, FML, LOL, WTF, do nothing. Cannot say like that, but give me some point. Why you say League of Nations, nothing?
It
You
did,
same as Yichen. Yichen also choose that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Because I feel like the League of Nations is
Wait, don't say first. Because we are judges. We are judges. Cannot let the cat out of the bag. Let Xingchen say first. Because you and Xingchen, no, you choose Guild of War, you support Hooray. Then you choose also League of Nations, you support Xingchen. So cannot say first. Okay, Xingchen, carry on.
League of Nations is the one that's least relevant to Germany.
The whole entire, okay.
Since Guild for War, Armed Forces, Lost Territory, all was everything except for League of Nations contributed to the pushing on blame and humiliation of Germany. But then League of Nations was supposed to prevent war and it wasn't able to do that. But it still didn't really contribute a lot.
Okay, that's all, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's make verdict. Okay, my verdict, I will choose, I won't tell first. My verdict, let me see, I will choose, well, very hard fight. Okay, let's hear from Yichen. I still cannot decide. Yichen, who do you think has a better explanations and persuasions and convincing that their point is more better to lead to cause the World War II. Back to you, Professor Guo Yichen.
For which one?
Gentlemen, if you do not know who is Professor Guo Yichen, he's a professor all the way study in Cambridge and we have double degree. And recently he did archaeologists and found a bones, and the bone is called the chicken bones. But this chicken bones is about 1 million ago, so it's not an ordinary chicken bone. So this chicken bone is very special. Yeah, you see, things I also agree. Yeah, thank you. Welcome, and please put your hand together. Together only, I didn't say clap. We welcome Professor Guo Yichen. Okay, Guo 大哥.
So which one? Is it about the
No, who do you think is better? How will you think?
No, as in like for the what do you call it? The reason or the like the least important reason.
I see. 你是 professor， 你不要丢我的脸呢。你应该有你自己的决定嘛。You can go and decide 嘛。Okay. Okay, come let's hear from Professor Guo. We are live. Okay, we are live in recording. Please.
Because I chose Guild for War. So
wait. Drum roll, please. Okay. Who? Guild for War. So you support who? You support Hooray?
Yes, maybe.
Oh, okay. And why do you support Hooray?
Because I feel like how do you say? As in like if for Guild of War, right? Mainly like German, yeah, it was like not just Germany fighting. It was like all the allies together fighting, like Axis powers fighting together. But Germany himself have to take the full blame.
So the keyword you agree with Hooray lah.
Yeah, so this gave like Hitler a chance to like
a very lame excuse
this gives the chance for Hitler to like kind of like rise up, you know, and like to like lead Germany, maybe using like the kind of feeling that is like this is not fair to us, to like to conquer like to retake parts of Europe. And this also like partly caused France and Britain to like not really to like adopt a piece of like appeasement, because they felt that it was too unfair for them. So like because it benefits Hitler a lot, I think that is the reason for why World War II occurred.
I see. Okay.
And then for the part about these important, right? I would say I support Hooray.
Germany lost territory.
Wait, no, wrong. The
League of Nations.
Yeah.
By 新城。哇，你很厉害哦。哇，一个 support 这个，另外一个 support Professor
两个都不对。
哇，你很厉害，怪不亏你是传说中的旋风小飞侠，怪不得我终于有百闻不如一见的传说中的高博士 Professor 郭 very smart 哇，夹尖嘴利啊，牙尖嘴利哇。
Because
like, very good.
The League of Nations, right? It didn't really have it was like most of the big three, or sorry, not big three. The members of the League of Nations still like partly kept their army. Also, Germany was not part of League of Nations until later. This meant like kind of like Germany didn't really care about the League of Nations. And also it was not effective because it didn't have an army. So it couldn't like stop many wars from occurring. Yeah. Like Germany didn't really care about League of Nations.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Guo. Anything?
That's all.
Thank you. Okay, we will come back after this break. Please don't go away. What will this stupid Uncle Raymond say about his point? See you later. Okay, come back with me. Okay. 我们好像是在National Geographic. Okay, so I thank you for all the gentlemen who have mentioned all your points. First, I like to say I'm opposite from you, Ethan, to be honest. First, talk about how Ray, you choose guilt for war and Germany loss of territory, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes? Okay, I will support how Ray for Germany loss of territory. And I was, that is, okay. And then for Xing Chen, you choose reparations and lead of nation, right? In fact, I would support your witness that's called the lead of nation. All right, now let's be honest. Guilt for the war, actually, Germany don't give a bloody damn to it. It's just like, imagine Ethan, Professor Guo, imagine in the class, your students are making a lot of noise, and then one clown, let's say it's not Xing Chen, Xing Chen is Germany example. So this clown make a lot of noise, and then Hao Rui also make a lot of noise, Raven also make a lot of noise, and make the whole class to get complaint. And then you as a professor, teachers, will get complaint. So you all along don't like Xing Chen. So you blame on Xing Chen, okay? Example, then you Xing Chen make the responsibility. Then Xing Chen say, hey, prof, not my problem, Hao Rui and Raymond and some of them also create a lot of problems. Why you punish me? Say, no, because you are the one who did it. They say, where got proof? How can you do that? You say, yeah, because 5 months, 6 months ago, I saw you talking very loudly in class. 这样也可以啊? Something like that. So I find that guilt for the war is not that, in fact, is to me, the guilt for the war is the least important. From the past history, the three of you, whether you agree or not, from the past history, everyone will always take the scapegoat and everyone will get the blame, regardless of what war you talk about. The Greek War, not Greek War, the war between the Song Empire, the Tang Song Ye Mi Qing, or the 三国演义也好, 三国志, 春秋战国, or even the Alexander the Great, the 成吉思汗, you name it, all kinds of war or Napoleon War, they always have this guilt of war for the person to bear the responsibility. But the main reason people go for war is the most important call, the territory. You agree not, Professor Guo? Because 每个人在国家打仗都是要抢土地. Even in the 黑社会, in the secret society gangsterism, they also 就是打仗就是为了抢生意, 抢地盘. Okay, same thing. If you see a Starbucks, you always will see when you see a Coffee Bean, you see a Starbucks. When you see a McDonald's, most likely you can see a KFC and Burger King, something like that. Okay, if you see a Uniqlo, you will see Cotton On, these kind of things. So because of territory dispute is the most important. Because of territory dispute, you have no money to pay. You have no army to build. You have no territory to, you have no places to build your factory. Okay, League of Nations to me is still important. So guilt for the war is the least important in my list. But the most important will be Germany's loss for territory. It's the most important. Okay, because yes, I agree with you, Professor Guo, that you say that League of Nations, that's where the Germany came in later parts. And then after that, he say bye-bye, he FO already, he fly off, say, that's your problem. Because he saw that the Manchuria was attacked by Japan, and then the Mussolini also attacked by Abyssinia. So he thinks that, hey, what are you doing? These two countries join your forces, and then you still let them scot-free, 逍遥法外. Then okay, myself, no point joining this club. The purpose of joining this club is to protect the member, and yet you can't even protect. And then your soldiers only protect your own territory. Then what is the point? So that is the reason you realize League of Nations also 头痛啊, 伤脑筋啊. Agree not, Xing Chen? It's all about territory dispute, 对不对? Agree not, Hao Rui? You agree with me? Hao Rui 不见了. Hao Rui, 对吗? You agree with me, Hao Rui? 每个人都是抢地盘的嘛. 你看三国, 你看秦始皇, 七国变成 the Greek War, Greek China, 中国, the first emperor of China. 秦始皇也是打天下, 也是打地盘出来. So to me, territory dispute is the most important because territory is scarcity. Okay, so I find that the loss of territory is that create the trigger for Hitler, for German people. 面子问题啊. That's why I show you, if you see the whole empire of Germany last time, the colonies are so big. And suddenly you have such a big land and your land being taken away. Of course, you're not happy, right? You'll find reason and excuse to take back. So I find that German's loss of territory is the most significant factors that leads to World War II. Because if not, why German Hitler would attack Poland and throw away the appeasement? And why German also want to take the Rhineland, the Sudetenland, and then the Austria, then the Belgian, and so on? And why after World War II, Stalin want to take over the east part of the Europe and build the Great Wall? Sorry, what Great Wall? The Berlin Wall. True now, Professor Guo. I'm sorry, Professor Guo just went to the toilet. He was doing so 他在厕所李田共不要吵他。I think you're laughing away. I know. He's an Xingchen and Hao Rui. You have your point, you have your arguments, but remember the most important things in this world. People are fighting. It's definitely for territory. Once you have territory, you have all the 5M. People will come to you for manpower. People will come to you for because you're able to expand the territory. So the top people, the general, will come to you, the management. And when you have bigger territory, you start to build more buildings, more manufacturing, more material, more resources, right? More machinery. Then the money is where you come in. So remember that territory is the most important. Without territory, don't talk about anything. Because in this world, 70% is water, 30% is land. And out of 30%, the North Pole and the South Poles cannot stay on. And the desert also cannot stay. Minus here, minus there, the Gobi Desert, the Sahara Desert, and don't know what desert come up. Maybe left 20%. You think about it. And 20% minus the hilly mountain, unless you actually then you climb your mountains. Okay, if not those normal terrain, not many. Okay, so I close my case for this. So in case there's any questions come up. But that time Germany is suffering economic crisis and Great Depression. The people in the countries are unemployed. They just wanted basic survival, so that they didn't really prioritize their country pride. Only after Hitler promised to solve the problem, which he did then, they thought about expanding. Well, you are not wrong. Like I say, all your points are not wrong, my dear. All right, well said, not wrong. But if you put it here, and if there is a 2 point to compare, if you've got other points and you compare with territory, please put territory as the main priority, in my opinion. So I may be wrong also. If it happened that you came across next time you go to study your A-level history, or in your university you study history, then one of the professor really tell you about other points. You say, last time my Uncle Raymond told me territory is important, but this professor tell me the guilt for the war is the main cause of World War II. The way he say makes sense, but Uncle Raymond says that one also makes sense, but not so, the weight is not as good as professor. 人家是 professor 嘛，对吗？奕晨，对不对？我当然是一个小兵仔，对不对？ But then again, I say it's not wrong for what you say, Harry. That you see, Harry, may I ask you these questions? When you say because of Great Depression and economic crisis, 他们就是因为没有那个地盘， they do not have the territory to expand, so that they cannot work, because the Rhineland all taken away, the restriction area, the most cash cow place. Just like, for example, if this businessman got 20 restaurants, but there's only 5 restaurants that really make tons of money. Well, the other 15 restaurants is just only for show, because they want to show that this is a 大集团, a big organizations. So they are making sure survival. So your explanation, I can accept it, is nothing wrong. Okay, so I agree now, Ethan. Do you see what? Harry didn't send. Wait, because Harry didn't send to the class. Please, I will send to the whole class, and please read. Very true. What he says is very true, right? Are you reading, Xingchen? The chat group. Makes sense, right? Xingchen makes sense, right? Yeah, Ethan also makes sense. Okay. Now let's go to the lead of nation. Okay, let's do the League of Nations. Now, a lot of abbreviation now. The 4 aims of the League of Nations is called SIDT. Stop the war. The aims of League of Nations is to stop the war, to improve people's life and jobs, disarmament, and enforce the Treaty of Versailles. You realize this site actually is become upside down. This site is supposed to help the League of Nations to improve the qualities of life, reduce war, reduce this argument and things like that. But it doesn't seem to be working. Well, not true. At certain extent, yes, they help to manage to cover certain, maybe small cases like that if possible. But then you see, 42 countries joins at the start, but by 1930s, you only this had risen to 60. Not bad lah. Okay, May 1920, the USSR voted against Versailles. Okay, the USSR did not join the league, so it did make the right decision. In 1919, it set up this one to cause revolution against the Tsar, the Nicholas the Tsar army, the Tsar Empire, and then Germany was not allowed to join League of Nations because of the World War I. Okay, and the leading to see this is the biggest mistake. It's a really very big mistake. It's really want to 逼虎跳墙, it's pushing Germany at one corner. And because of that, of course, as a great power of Europe, you're making an elephant to, you're asking an elephant to wear a ballerina. You know the ballerina, Xingchen. Can you imagine uncle, such a handsome boy, dress a ballerina? Thank you. The way you shake your head, Xingchen and Yichen, I know. Yeah, you want to shame me, wearing the ballerina and dancing like a graceful swan. So it doesn't make sense. 很丢脸. So what is the structures of the League of Nations? I use these acronyms here, but just ignore it. This is what they do. Okay, take a few minutes to read, which is not very important, but you need to know roughly what are they doing. Okay, then after that, there's 3 strengths of the League of Nations. The strength, they set up by the Treaty of Versailles to enforce, enhance, and ensure that Germany was not start the war, but bullshit lah. But we know after that, the League of Nations toppled. The initial state was very good. It's always the case. And then the universal membership, okay, everyone can just join, but funny, Germany cannot. The means of influence, the covenants of 26 from which every member agreed to follow. Okay, this is another something that's read through. And then you see there's 6 success and 6 failure. Okay. Now, if the 6 success is that, you see, these are the success. They call the sandbox. Just write down if you want to. Now, these are the stories. So it doesn't mean, so later I want you guys, I explained already, I want the 3 of you. Okay, now, Yichen, you also can be the professor again. So Yichen and Xingchen will have to explain. So the 2 of us will be the judge. So Xingchen and Hao Rui. So this is a 6 success story that help to unify certain country, to make certain country free from dictatorship, to free country from tyrannies and hardships, and also even free their prisoners and so on and so forth. So, okay, this is called the sandbox. And these are the 6 cases that they are somehow not very good, which is this one. Poland refused the lead order to withdraw, and then the invasion of Rome. Another treaties on number 5, and disarmament. So if you compare the 6 success and the VIMCOD, okay, there's VIMCOD, BIMCOD. Does it make sense? Which one do you think is more severe? Okay, is it this one or based on this one here? Was it okay? Then these are the things that League of Nations have failed to carry out the duty as a global policeman, as a watchdog, as a arbitrator to say, okay, who is supposed to give what and this not to take. But I think the main 2 reasons here is that Manchuria in 1931, the lead sends official took a year vote that Japan return Manchuria, but they could not agree. And so Japan just sit there and says, 神经病. The purpose of taking Manchuria, we all know, based on knowledge, is that later they use Manchuria as a platform, as a launching pad to further expand the Imperial Army, the Japanese Empire, all the way southward to China, right? The Abyssinia, as you know, Mussolini also invaded, also refused to take back. Of course, you see, now you understand why. Even the League of Nations also support the treaties, also support the territories dispute and territories gain. So these failures kill the leads, okay, in my opinion, okay? I will give you my reason whether feel of success. So 2 minutes, children. Let me rest my throat. So Xing Chen and Hao Rui, quick one. Xing Chen, will you choose success or failure over the League of Nations? And why? Back to you, Xing Chen. So now you know already, Hao Rui. Uncle Raymond talked about the Manchuria, so now you know, huh? I told you, I get very bad out, to be honest, Hao Rui, that when I received this history book during when I was teaching in my ex-school, my elder son managed to study the Long March, the China National Kuomintang, and China involved in World War II. But when he left after 1 or 2 years later, when this new textbook came in, I was very shocked that this textbook did not mention much about China involvement in World War II. It's not fair, seriously, it's not fair. The way the history department took away that, it just, if I'm not mistaken, they mentioned a bit. And now you tell me your teacher never mentioned about this one. Even lucky, not fair at all. Okay, I agree on what, Hao Rui. Oh? So 身为我跟你okay, no racism, guys, sorry, and this is recording. 身为Hao Rui，你跟我们都是华人，我们的祖先也是从中国来的。看到这种情形where you see honestly the 南京大屠杀啦 okay, and how the Japanese take the biological warfare against the Chinese during World War II and all this, and even during the Tang Dynasty, they already have this problem to want to attack China all the way until now. And even now, they also want to use economy to attack China in one way. This is very open, okay? But sadly to say, this has been happening, and they are supported by the US, okay? And happily to say, thank God, 我们的所谓的祖国, I'm also, my ancestor also come from China. Okay, I definitely will support my own country, not because you guys are China or Chinese. Okay, I definitely, and my surname some more. My surname is a Song Cao de Song. Okay, I even really very particular. So during my A-level history, when we are talking about the Song dynasty, I definitely scored an A for that, A1 for my dynasty. So you tell me about Song dynasty, 苏东坡你听过吗？一成。你懂是谁吗？
He's the 苏东坡 is the
才子来的
yeah, he's the he
I tell you,
wrote
if
a lot
那个
of
东坡肉苏东坡那个东坡肉烤那个肉那个你看他连煮一道菜都可以你看这么好还有包拯、岳飞，对吗？还有杨家将，对不对？你懂吗大哥？你懂吗？You know all these people not? Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
You know
I
or not?
know some of the dishes that you mentioned.
Not dishes, the people 岳飞You know who is 岳飞 not?
Yeah.
The first Chinese to have tattoo. You know what's the word, right? 精忠报国。就是他就是为了那4个字害死他自己Okay. So okay, okay, Hao Rui, thanks for sharing. But then again is I find it, you see, the League of Nations already failed since 1931 already. Can you imagine Manchuria at that time already suffered under the dictatorship of Japan. Japan already stepped their foot in China's territory already. And all the more with the massacre, they call the rape of Nanjing. 2 over million people die or so. That is equivalent to same as the Jews. So now you understand, like 习近平现在又不喜欢有这些那些kind of very celebrities or this. There is always a reason. A lot of people cannot see it. Okay, I cannot blame him. But honestly, out of so many leaders in China since Mao Zedong to now, the only leader in the Communist Party is the one I respect more is Deng Xiaoping. Okay, without him today, all of you will not be able to come to Singapore. In my opinion, I may be wrong, because it'll become a closed door policy. But thanks to him, he opened up the whole world for China's people. So he's a brilliant guy. Okay, so yes, Hao Rui, do you think it's a success or failure? Anything you want to ask? What else about this? So you can see the failures now. You can see right in front of your eyes. In fact, the text also mentioned that, and also mentioned I think a bit of Manchuria. Okay, Xing Chen, success or failure?
Failure.
Failure, huh? Okay, can you explain why?
They never had a lot of authority.
Huh?
They didn't have a lot of authority.
Who is the they? Don't use the pronoun.
The League of
noun.
Nations didn't have a lot of authority.
Is that the only answer you can give? We are judging your answer, Professor. I purposely bought a ticket for Professor Guo from all the way from Cambridge to come down here. Hey, please lah, come on, give me a good answer. Okay, you think about it first. Hao Rui, what is your answer? Success or failure?
I think it's a failure.
Okay, why?
Because for all the success example is all revolving around like the smaller countries that League of Nations can exert authority on, because they don't have the power.
Wait, who is the they? Don't always use they.
The League of Nations don't have the power to stop them from doing things.
Who stop them? Who is the them?
The smaller countries from like starting war on each other. But for the larger countries like Japan and Italy, they can just they ignored the League of Nations warning, and they can just choose to leave the league, so they won't get the consequences like the sanctions. And so they ignore the league, and they continue to invade the countries like Abyssinia and Manchuria. Then also Hitler also saw like the cowardness of the League of Nations, and this emboldened him to continue with his expansionist policy.
好像是得寸进尺哦。I'll give you an inch, you want a yard. So they take advantage. That remind me, when you say they can go scot-free, when they attack Abyssinia and Manchuria, it's just like, imagine Hao Rui, you were late for school. Then the other two students also late. So by right, the three of you should be punished by the discipline master, Hao Rui. Then because the discipline master say, oh, because student A very rich, okay, you don't need to do detention. Ask your father to donate $2,000 to school can already. Okay, then student B not very rich, but his father is a gangster. So he say, okay, never mind, you can go. Or if not, then the father will beat him out. This is something like that, you get me now. Then you also get punished, but you really get punished. You say, huh? Then what for I join this school? I'm not learning the right thing, man. Correct or Hao Rui? So yes, makes sense, Okay, thank you very much. All right, so Professor Guo Yichen, you heard Hao Rui's explanation why it was a failure. Back to you, Xing Chen.
It couldn't control countries, since countries that decided to not follow the rules given by the League of Nations could just...
Can you write down, sorry, it's called R&R, Rules and Regulation.
Countries that did not wish to follow the rules and regulations of the League of Nations can just decide to leave it, and there will be no significant consequences. For example, when never mind.
Huh?
Nothing.
For example, nothing.
Yeah.
They leave the place, for example, nothing. What talk you? I'm blur already, right? Professor Guo got any question of Xing Chen? Huh? Oh, nothing. That's all. Is that your answer?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. Yi Chen. So what is your verdict?
Oh,
I like
think-
Professor 就是 Professor Yi Xing Chen。他 start off
Oh.
well，
well,
我觉得这是认为我不愧是大人物就是大人物哦，星辰好伟 well， oh, yes Professor Guo, yes back to you, sorry for the interruption.
I think it was mostly a failure.
Yeah, but wait, who is better?
I think Howrey was a bit better.
I agree with you. Okay, never mind. Okay, so definitely it's a failure. Why, Professor Guo?
Okay, so like it didn't do its job, and as
He
in
do
like,
his job lah. You cannot say he didn't do his job, leh. Not fair, leh. He do. You
it
should say
wasn't successful in doing its job. Like that's-
properly. You must add last word properly.
he didn't do his
Bro.
job properly.
对咯
Like, because,
imagine your wait imagine 你的 daddy 跟妈咪讲你一直扫地，那你扫嘞，他说咦这边肮脏，可是那边清洁，you don't do a job，那你讲哈 I do I sweep 啊，then they say oh you didn't do your job properly. Okay, carry on.
So for example, during one of the conflicts they didn't like, they could only like stop like some of the smaller countries.
按关火
Yeah, like, but for example, in like 1923, the France and Belgium they invaded. I don't know how to pronounce the thing. It's called it's spelled as, I think, RUHR or something.
Oh, the rule, okay, yeah.
Ruhr.
I pronounce rule, yeah.
Yeah, but when like Germany, I think, didn't pay the reparations for war. But then the League of Nations did nothing to stop.
因为他没有去找 loan shark 嘛，他没有找 loan shark 去qualified loan shark 找 Uncle Raymond 哦，我跟你讲，哎，鸡蛋你没有还钱你，我等一下大吃爆 ，owe money pay money 啊，okay, yeah, carry on.
So they were not successful in like stopping.
Hello. Who is the they?
League of Nations was not successful in getting members like France and Belgium to leave the Ruhr. And also, for example, Japanese invasion of Manchuria in 1930 something.
Yeah, 1931.
31. Where was it?
Yeah, it's on the
yeah, 1931.
very jialat no, you see 31 that means China has been suffering from 31 to 1945. 十几年 oh my goodness. Okay, carry on.
Also, like when the league like refused to recognize Manchuria, like Manchukuo,
Manchukuo.
Yeah, Manchukuo, as like Japan, they named it Manchukuo.
Yeah, lor.
Yeah, and then they refused to recognize. Then Japan simply just resigned from the league, and then they just didn't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the League of Nations also didn't really do anything to stop it. And also like because they didn't have their own army, so they couldn't really do anything about it. All they could do was economic sanctions. But if like
true, very true. Stop. I agree. Because of the economic sanctions, you see, good point. Yes. Carry on. I heard that. Very important.
And like if they wanted to like
if they again. Okay. My grandfather.
And like
my
if
grandfather.
Britain, like the big countries, right, like Britain and France, maybe they have like if Britain and France maybe have allies with that country, the League of Nations will also not do anything to stop it. Like, yeah, so So
I
okay.
sign not because of you, I sign because this League of Nations 真的是害人精啊。Yeah, Karen.
Useless. Yeah. So yeah.
Well done. Okay. Look at this answer here. Okay, where's my mouse? Not moving. Okay, look at my answer. I know they are saying this is my answer. Why League of Nations? That's why it's called bust out. Make sense, huh? This I think I shared with you before, right? Did I? Not sure. Huh? Okay, are you reading? So, Professor Kuo, you mentioned about the Britain and France things, right? And then the USA and then all the USSR. And the most important thing to plus up because the USA was not even the member. And he's the one who created the 14 points in the Treaty of Versailles, and yet he's not involved at all. He adopted the policy of isolationist. And the Treaty of Versailles was set by the lead, and it was being hated by a lot of people, a lot of countries as well. And it also it was a failure because a dictator like Mussolini and Hitler, as what most of the three of you mentioned, yes, it was really a disaster. Okay, but somehow or other, I think it was unsuccessful, as what most of you, like Hao Rui and Xing Chen, I think all of you mentioned, because it only can handle small cases only. The big cases also very inexperienced, and they do not have the enough manpower to handle all these things. And because it's powerless, because it was condemned, you see, that he can't do much, and he only can help those like simple cases, which is okay, better than nothing. At least it kind of, I just come and think of it, children, leaders, that because of these small cases, it kind of prolonged the war later on. It kind of reduced maybe the Great Depressions. Now, Great Depression is because it all started, in my opinion, is from US side. Because of the stock market and all these things, it crashed. And because of people too greedy, and then because of crash of stock market and this impact of the US depressions overflow and overspills to the rest of the world, and of course to Europe. And thank God for Russia, it has a closed door policy, so it didn't affect. So you see, sometimes 危机就是一个机会，是个转机的机会。So sometimes a problem, a dilemma, or what kind of setback. You see, to some pandemic, it's a majority of the pandemic, people will sure lost money. But during pandemic, there are people who can make billions of dollars. And I can think of is the GrabFood, Gojek, Food Panda, and Deliveroo, and even the Raffles Medical CEO makes billions of dollars. And I think also with the online shopping like Lazada and Shopee also make a lot of tons of money. And it doesn't mean that all the F&B in Singapore also collapse. So you realize by studying history or social study, it kind of help you to further understand the process of step-by-step planning, the process of able to analyze, if I do this, what's the next step? Will I fail or not? So it's not like math and science. I always say that they are very straightforward answer. Okay, you just keep doing the same things, the 10-year series. Whereas for history, you see, today I can share with you like that, Eaton and Sington. Next year, if we come back to history again, I got another set of talkings and another set of persuasion. Because every year we talk about it, we refine, we polish, not polish, what the hell am I talking in English? We refine and polish and also fine-tune the answer. It's much better. Okay, so that is very important. That is the essential about learning history and social study. And I would say, I leave it to you. So all of us agree that this is definitely a failure for League of Nations because they can't do much. And because of that, sadly to say, It created World War II. And because of that, also in the near future, the next generation of leaders, most of them have to study history to become a good leader, because they want to know the do's and don'ts and not to affect the future generations having the same issue. Okay, that's very important. Now, I'd like to share with you, you know who is Yu Ming, right? You know who is Yu Ming, right? Hooray. You know, today he's taking his, Yu Ming is actually an NA student. I've been helping him on and off, offline from tuition for his English. And he shared with me this, the SRQ ready. Very important to you, huh? But it may not necessarily that you will not come out in your O level, because a group of people doing setting paper for SS for NA and a group of people setting paper for Express is two different school. I'm sorry, two different group. So the first question, listen. Extract 1 is about the technological advancement in communications made in an increasingly globalized world. In your opinion, what impact do technological advancements in communications have on the lives of young Singaporeans? Explain your answer with reference to one positive and one negative impact. We covered this before, right, Xing Chen? Hooray. And Ethan, we covered that last two lessons. Then the 8 marks question, there's no way of pros, they never way, I just mentioned. Extract 2 and 3 describe two forces that drive globalizations in the 21st century. Growth of multinational corporations. Okay? Ethan, last week 我们讲过 and developments in transportation. Explain how the growth of MNC and developments in transportation drive globalization in the 21st century. They never say which one is more important. I remember last week we also did say this before, right? Definitely you can pass. He said that he do not understand source B, D, and E. Oh, I don't know what. Okay. So let's go to this one here. I would like you all to do the typing in your answer for questions number 6, number 1. Study source A. Do you think, okay, this one, A and B, please write down, take a picture. I think you have, right? Do you think writers, okay, why not put this one here? I don't need to put the picture. Okay, give me a minute. This is a 6 mark, Control C. I put in the chat group. Okay, so this is the answer. So I want you to look at the background information again, just in case you forgot. Wow, the NA student is the SPQ came out diversity. National identity is an individual sense of belonging to a country. It can come from, don't know what, okay, the scanning of the picture is not very clear. Okay. So Xing Chen, Hooray, and Ethan, you have to do this. Okay, read. Okay. So what is source A and B here? I will go through the answer. So please type your answer. So the answer is, are you surprised, right? Yes. Okay. So Ethan, just time for you to answer the surprise and not surprise. So Xing Chen and Hooray, please answer is a 6 marks question. Are you surprised and are you not surprised? Okay, please type in your answer in the chat group now. And if you can, 5 minutes, come back to you. You are supposed to have one surprise paragraph, one not surprise paragraph, okay? And then you must have the purpose. The last part, the third paragraph is the purpose. So total, don't give me one paragraph. I will not take it. And also when you quote, please be careful you're quoting, not too long. Hey, type inside the chat to everyone, not to me. Huh? What are you talking? Sure, can you send you later once I get home? I don't get you leh. Oh, sorry. then okay, Ethan. Then you and I will make the judge again, okay? All right. See, Xingchen and Ethan, Xingchen and Ethan, Xingchen and Harry answer, okay? Please wear your mask or Ethan when you're outside. Once you are done, please type in the answer. We'll look through. I bet this question will come out in your end of year exam. I believe your teachers now have been rushing to teach you surprise or not surprise, agree or not agree, shock or not shock, support or not support. These kind of questions. Ethan, have you reached home already? We're going to start the answer already. Ethan, are you home already? Oh, 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. So you're able to hear what I'm saying, huh? So for the benefits, Xing Chen and Hao Rui, please type in your answer in chat group now so that I can read out the answer to Ethan. Well done. Xing Chen, thank you. The author of Source A would be surprised by what Source B states about prison life in camps. Source A states that foods consisted of watery soup mixed with rotten vegetables and spoiled meat, a few ounces of bread, a bit of margarine, teas, or a drinking resembling coffee. The measures rations were merely intended to keep us alive. The Nazis did not provide us with sufficient nutrition to carry out heavy manual work. This suggests that the prisoner found his rations at the prison inadequate, unhealthy, and unfeeling. Okay, thank you. Fair. However, source B shows that prisoners in Nazi concentration camps were eating well with fillings foods. Sinton, carry on, please. Carry on to read. This can. This can be. This can be seen when the source. Carry on, carry on.
This can be seen when the source states that today at midday, there was delicious soup with tasty bacon in the canteen, and then a delightful dessert. Today, I think part of it was deleted by Zoom.
Never mind, carry on. Then you continue from there, by surprise, carry on. Then you continue by the carry on.
Suggesting that food served at concentration camps were filling, nutritious, and delicious. This directly contradicts what the writer's source A claims to have experienced at a concentration camp. Hence, the author would be surprised.
Okay, but it's good, Xing-Chan. It's okay to put surprise at the last part, but it will be good. And you say surprise, you're supposed to put one surprise and not surprise. If you say A is surprise, but first one you say surprise, then the second paragraph, if you say however, then source B will be not surprise. Xing-Chan. Get it now, Xing-Chan?
Yeah.
You get it, Xing-Chan?
Yeah.
You are contradicting yourself. Sorry, I got a bit the throat there, genius. So you say, at first you say the author of source A would be surprised. Then you put there, however, source B shows that. Then you must put there, is it surprise? Then you say it would be surprised. Then it should be would, okay, it should be would not be surprised. So source A will be surprised. Okay, this one will be not surprised, a bit different now. Okay, let's go about Harry. I think the writer, okay, Harry, can you read the answer? Sorry, my throat.
Okay, I need to finish the last sentence.
Oh, you haven't finished,
There's no space.
Then you continue from, just cut and paste again. Okay, I think the writer of source A would be surprised by what the writer of source B mentioned, because life in concentration camps was horrible for him. Source A states that the foods, okay, blah, blah, you so same until the coffee there. Yeah, I think it's good enough. No need to be too long, Xing-Chan. No need to be too long, the quotes. Just until the coffee there is okay, fine. This suggests that what he was given every day as food was very edible and insufficient, and also a poor quality hygiene to a point where he did not recognize what he was consuming. That shows that he's really give up on the kind of food. Now, when you put however, you should put in the next paragraph, cannot join together. However, source B mentioned that I'm eating in a camp today at this midnight, blah, 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 all the way. This suggests that life for the writer of source B in concentration camp was luxurious, has received tasty and nutrition food to eat, and even had like leisure time to go to relax. And therefore, the writer of source A will be surprised of source B because there was a huge contrast. Okay, actually, source A, I would not be surprised. Source A is, I would not be surprised. It's really bad. The two lifestyles in concentration, as one led to a luxurious lifestyle, the other one led to a horrible lifestyle. Okay, let's see the answer. That I prepare for you guys. How come it never come on? Oh, come on. Okay. Let's go for the surprise and not surprise. Both also miss out the things, and you never talk about the purpose. So surprise, the writer of source A would be surprised by what the writer of source B mentioned. Or you can say the writer of source A would not be surprised by what the writer of source B mentioned. As both mentioned that people in the camp were given food, so not surprised. But this one is surprised that they have good food. Okay, and false matching. The writer of source A would be surprised by what the source of writer of source B mentioned, as source A did not mention about bacon. Okay, this is mentioned bacon is served. The writer of source A would be surprised by what the writer of source B mentioned, as source A mentioned that the inmates were served with bitter drinks resembling coffee, while source B did not mention the type of drinks that is served. So false matching. This is cannot be used that. So we don't want to talk about this now. We go straight to the actual answer, which is this one here. Sington, will you be kind enough to read to the class, please? The writer of source A.
The writer of source A would be surprised by what the writer of source B mentioned, as they have different opinions about the quality of food at the concentration camp. This is seen in source A. Food consisted of watery soup made with rotten vegetables and meat. This shows that the prisoners were given bland and bad food. However, source B states that at midday, there was delicious soup with tasty bacon in the canteen, and then a delightful dessert. This shows that
Carol, this shows that
the prisoners were given delicious food.
okay, I understand what you wrote already, Howray. Because you put that just now, the however is inside, so it's not next paragraph. Thank you. So you only got this one here. The answer that you sent to me will give you just a 4 marks out of 6 marks. Pretty good, huh? 4 marks out of 6 marks. Okay, and the 2 lifestyle in concentration. Then you must put that the purpose of this comparison is to show the contrast of source A and B. Okay, well done. So carry on to the writer, Sington.
The writer of source, from where?
The writer of source A would be surprised.
The writer of source A would be surprised by what the writer of source A mentioned, as they have different opinions about the quantity of food at the concentration camp. This is seen in source A. The meager rations were merely intended to keep us alive. This means that the prisoners had insufficient food. Source B states, after the filling meal, we went for a walk. This shows that the people in the camp were given enough food to eat.
Yeah, thank you. So what you wrote, Howray, is correct in the last part. This shows the difference, the contrast. This shows that A is negative, while B is positive. A is having a very bad, miserable experience, while B have a very good experience and enjoy the wheel of the time, even you are in the concentration camp. That really surprised me, because in my general knowledge, this is not the way to work. It's not the way to do it. This is not the way that's supposed to be like that. But why are they saying that? Okay, let's talk about this one. Not surprised, Howray.
The writer of source A would not be surprised by what the writer of source B mentioned, as they both mentioned that the people in the camp were given food. This is seen in source A. Food consisted of watery soup made with rotten vegetables and meat, a few ounces of bread, a bit of margarine, tea, or a bitter drink resembling coffee. This shows that the prisoners had some food to eat. This is seen in source B. Midday, there was delicious soup with tasty bacon in the canteen, and then a delightful dessert. This also shows that the people in the camp had some food to eat.
So both also talk about food. So A is not surprised. But later you can say it is surprised that A has lousy food, whereas B has a bit of good quality food. That surprised me. But I'm not surprised that, yes, of course, every concentration camp will have to give them food and drink. If not, they will die of hunger, die of thirst. So I'm not surprised that they will still give food, but what kind of quality food? Okay. Sing Chan, are you home ready? Okay, like my turn to read. So
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, you're at home. So can you read the purpose?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The purpose of source A is an ex-prisoner highlighting to the international community of the horrible conditions in Nazi concentration camps. By doing so, he hopes that the world could see the truth on how cruel the Nazi were during their rule. This is seen in source A. People weakened by dehydration and hunger fell easy victim to the contagious disease that spread through the camp. Hunger was one of the greatest problems. The
Merger.
major rations were merely intended to keep us alive. However, the purpose of Source B is a Nazi prisoner trying to convince his wife that his life in the Nazi concentration camp was great. By doing this, he did not want her to be worried for him, as the account was obviously not true. This is seen in Source C. In my bed, I'm sleeping extremely well. Hopefully things are good for you as they are for me. I feel splendid.
呀，为什么他 sleeping well？他已经要死了，节哀顺变，他已经要 ashes to ashes, dust to dust 了，因为他不要给他的老婆担心嘛。So we know right, where got people stay in concentration camp？哇，你就要度假村啊，啊，像中 COVID-19 啊 ，staycation 啊，哇 ，my god brother stay in the hotel, got good food, got sushi to eat 啊 ，still complain the food not nice。我跟你讲啊，你去别的国家还有 sushi 吃吗？还有时候他讲说 the food is not nice. I asked my sister to get Grab food for me. Oh my goodness. Wow. Stay in a hotel for quarantine also got good food. You still complain. So I'm not surprised that people who stay in the hotel, whether staycations or COVID-19 quarantine, you still have food. But what kind of quality food? What kind of services? What kind of freedoms are being locked down? Okay, so things like that. You know, recently all these high cases in Singapore. So most of them are in hospital. I'm not surprised that eventually there's no bed. Okay, I'm not surprised that enough bed, but I'm surprised that that Singapore government take initiative to increase the bed, maybe to the private hospital, to maybe open up, maybe who knows, they might open up the indoor stadium to become a temporary housing for a hospital for this COVID-19, which it happened last year. Okay, so take note of these children, because I need to mention this part here is because there will be a very high chance for Yichen. Since you mentioned that, Dave, you want to know about surprise questions, right? Okay, let's move on to study C. Okay, so we just go through the answer, right? Because it's time constraint. You can hear my voice a bit not so good, so sorry, pardon me. If I ask you to read, please help me to read, huh? Okay, so I just close the chat. So I think Harvey answer is much better than compared to Xingchen. So Xingchen, you need to polish up your your surprise and not surprise question, right? Okay, so what you say here is that what can you learn about the life of the prisoner in the concentration camp from this source? Study sources. Ugh. So there was some restriction, right? There's some no, okay. I think that day we went through also, huh? So this is a 5 marks questions, very straightforward. Xingchen, can you read to the class?
I can learn from source C. Life of the prisoners in the concentration camp is very controlled. This is seen in source C. In sending money or postal orders, the exact address should be given, i.e. name, date of birth, and prisoner number. In the event that there are any mistakes in the address, the mail will be returned to sender or destroyed. This shows that the prisoners lacked the freedom in their daily lives.
So they are being monitored, they are closely watched. Carry on, next one.
I can learn from source C, the prisoners in the concentration have some form of freedom. This is seen in source C. Newspapers are allowed, but may only ordered through the Auschwitz camp post office. This shows that the prisoners still have access to the outside world.
So you have to use two, but they say all, right? So either one, you will be set to 5 marks. Can one believe what the photograph shows of the life of a prisoner? So the same thing. I believe, I cannot believe. Okay, you remember the picture, that's a quick one, this picture. So you have to cross-referencing. Remember, reliability. Okay. Ethan, can you read the picture?
I read the thing.
Yes.
Believe, cross-reference. I can believe what source D shows about the life of people in concentration camps. I can
Very
infer
soft,
that
very soft.
Hello?
Oh, very soft.
Hello.
Yeah, better. I can believe what source D.
I can believe what source D shows about the life of the people in concentration camps. I can infer that prisoners do not have enough food to eat. This is seen in source D, where prisoners are cooking their own meager meals. This shows that the life was tough for prisoners in concentration camps. I can believe when I cross-reference it to source A. Source A also shows that prisoners in concentration camps were given little and poor quality food. This is seen in source A. Food consisted of watery soup made with rotten vegetables and meat. This shows that the prisoners were given bland and bad food.
Oh shit, very bad. My cough cousin. So by writing like this, you will get already 5 marks. And then when you say you cannot believe, cross-referencing, hurry.
I cannot believe what source D shows about the life of the people in concentration camps. I can infer that the people do not have enough food to eat. This is seen in source D, where prisoners are cooking their own meager meals. This shows that the life was tough for prisoners in concentration camps. I cannot believe source D when I cross-reference to source B. Source B says that the prisoners had good food too. This is seen in source B. Midday, there was delicious soup with tasty bacon in the canteen, and then a delightful dessert. This also shows that the people in the camp had some food to eat.
So you see, they say, I believe they are very bad because I can cross-reference A. I can't believe it because the B say that they have good food. So I really cannot believe why they did so, right? It's ridiculous. So one is I can believe because I cross-referencing because the other source also say that. This one I cannot believe because the other source say that 那有一次暴一燕窝，哇，这样我也要去 concentration camp. Okay, back to you, Xingchen. Based on the explained provenance, this is where you get your 7 marks.
I believe what source D shows about life of the people in concentration camps, as the provenance of source D is reliable.
Why?
The author,
Wait, now stop there. Why is it reliable? Always ask yourself, look at D. Why do you use the word reliable? If you really got nothing to write, you can write like that. This source D, the provenance is reliable. Then a photo leak out by a Nazi's camp. So when you say a leak out means it's like the cat out of the bag. So it's really confirmed 1000% authentic and 1000% confirmed very good. Carry on. The author
is a Nazi camp guard who has leaked out this photograph and has nothing to gain by showing the true nature of what is happening inside these camps, as he has first-hand knowledge. He has no ulterior motive as being a Nazi guard. He would probably be in grave danger for revealing this photograph, and he would not have leaked it out if it was not true. Hence, this source is reliable.
Exactly. 他用生命的去换那个 answer 嘞 obviously. Okay, why was this article published? So it's a purpose question. Okay. Hurry, can you, don't mind? I really cannot start reading. Sorry. I really have to take my medicine later on. Harry,
The
don't mind.
article was published in 1945 to highlight to the Nuremberg judges that life inside the Nazi concentration camps was horrible or nightmarish. This is seen in Source E. Inmates kill each other for food and try to eat the flesh of corpses thrown outside the huts. I saw a woman inmate cut some flesh from a corpse lying in the compound, put it in her small cooking pot and eat it. This shows that life in a Nazi concentration camp is horrible as people resorted to cannibalism. The
Carry on.
article was published to highlight to the Nuremberg judges that life inside the Nazi
Okay, never mind.
concentration
It's repeat. Sorry, okay, this one here.
By doing so, the author hopes that the Nuremberg judges would see the cruelty of the Nazis and punish them accordingly.
Right, write down this word, please. By doing so, the author. By doing so, source B tells us. By doing so, okay, Hitler want to what? To genocide. By doing so, it portrays Stalin to be the fatherly figure. By doing so, the Treaty of Versailles is what? So you use the word by doing so. Write down, children, write this word down. This was because at that time, Germany lost the war, and many Nazi soldiers were put on trial for war crimes committed against the prisoner in the concentration camp. You see, history is a fact. So no matter what you put it in, they cannot mark you wrong. As long as you get your facts and your data, your research correct. You see, it is true. You cannot say this was because at that time Germany won the war and many Nazi soldiers went for a holiday, and that's why they went to commit a crime that killed prisoner. That is 101% wrong. But you know that in 1945 the war ended on the 8th of May. So this is true. Study source S is from a German newspaper. Does it make useless source? Use the detail. Okay, this is the 7 highest marks. So explain cross-referencing, you see? You see the way they cross-referencing? Okay, so each one talk about it. I explain first. Source A will be Hao Rui. Source B will be Xing Chen. And I'll see. And then Yi Chen, last one. So I read this one first. So is it useless or not? Source F is useless when I look at its provenance, which is unreliable. The author of this source is a German newspaper. Has much to gain by publishing this photograph showing that prisoners are well treated in concentration camp, as they would want to project a positive image to the people of Germany. Also, the author has an ulterior motive as through this photo. They would want to appear to the German people as kind leaders so that people would continue to support the Nazis party. This picture. Oh? Who's turn to read? How we write?
Source F is useless when I cross-reference it to Source A. Source A says that the prisoners were living in terrible condition. This is seen in Source A. Diarrhea was common. People weakened by dehydration and hunger fell easy victim to the contagious diseases that spread through the camp. Hunger was one of the greatest problems. The maigre rations were merely intended to keep us alive. This shows that life is horrible for prisoners of the Nazi concentration camps, as Source A contradicts Source F. Therefore, Source F is useless as it is unreliable.
You see, there are total 6 sources. So source F is one of the sources to see whether source F is good or not. Out of A, B, C, D, E, only 2 sources are support. So majority win, right? So 3 sources are against. So obviously, and based on your contextual knowledge and general knowledge, you know this F is a bullshit, it's useless. Xing Chen.
Source F is useless when I cross-reference it to source C. I can infer from source C that the lives of the prisoners in the concentration camp are very controlled. This is seen in source C. In sending money or postal orders, the exact address should be given, i.e., name, date of birth, and prisoner number. In the event that there are any mistakes in the address, the mail will be returned to sender or destroyed. This shows that the prisoners lacked the freedom in their daily lives. as source C contradicts source F, their source F is useless as it is unreliable.
It should be therefore. Huh? They forget to put the word therefore. Therefore, source F is useless and unreliable. So they actually forget to put the therefore inside here. Okay, never mind. Thank you so much. And the third source also support that it is useless. So out of 5 sources, 3
therefore
again.
should be there.
You see therefore there?
I don't think the therefore should be there.
Source C contradicts source F there. Therefore, source F is useless as it's useless. Or it should be therefore there. Source therefore, this one you take away, you mean?
Yeah.
Source C is contradicts and source F also can. It can be, you can take away if you want to. Nothing wrong, but if you comment that, it's possible. Thanks, Xingchen. How, Ethan?
Oh, source F is useless when I cross-reference it to source D. I can infer that the prisoners do not have enough food to eat. This is seen in source D, where prisoners are cooking their own major meals. This shows that the life was tough for prisoners in concentration camps. As source C contradicts source F,
Source F is useless.
source S is useful.
Useless,
as
useless,
it
not
is
useful.
useless. Yeah, source S is F is useful. Useless as it is unreliable.
Okay, so that's all. So cross-referencing to tell you what do you say here? Useless tested by explaining the provenance and cross-referencing with other sources. So it's similar to what you're going to add on to this one. Next week, hopefully you guys can complete some homework for this one. Okay, we have complete the source. Next week, I will be giving you new source to do. Okay, and then complete out this one here. Okay. Let me stop here. Just 9:42. Okay. So we'll stop recording.